all in all, like it was such a special time for me. St. Louis is always going to be near and dear to my heart, and I really believe that it shaped me to who I am today. It built the character that and the foundation that I live off of, and I look back on it, and some of my favorite memories, in my 29 years of life, stem back from St. Louis.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Deep Podcast. This is the podcast where we dive deep into different topics, different subjects. We bring on guests. They talk about their life story, what career field they're in, just their walk of life. You know what I mean? Again, as always, I'm your host, Starr. And let me bring in the co-host, Miss Kaleo Hill in the building. What's up, Kaleo? You ready for this episode?
I'm so ready.
So ready. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notifications button so that you don't miss any episode on this podcast, which airs every Wednesday. I know a couple weeks ago it wasn't on Wednesday because I lost internet, all that stuff. You already know. But every Wednesday, yeah, right. I can't choose when my internet is gonna go out or not, right? But anyways, every Wednesday we will be airing a new show. Also on Spotify. If you guys are on Spotify, make sure you follow the podcast and rate the show. That'd be much appreciated. Without further ado, let's get the show started. We got a special guest in the building. Been waiting a long time for the millions of viewers to see this handsome, beautiful face. All the way reigning from Hawaii. He is an NFL superstar. He is your college superstar, your high school superstar, whatever you want to call it. Marcus Mariota in the building, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on, bro?
How's it? Thank you for having me, man. Happy to be here.
Shoot, you're happy. We're happy, man. Thanks for being here.
We're happy.
No, man, we really appreciate the time, because, you taking time out of your busy schedule. We know the preseason, postseason, just not postseason, preseason, started, OTAs, everything, all the training and all that stuff. And, you're on a new team now and, you're very busy and, you're also a new father now, right?
Yes. Amongst all of that, yes, a brand new baby girl in December. She is our pride and joy. She just turned 5 months a few days ago, and yes, that keeps me very busy.
Yes, they do.
That's for sure, man. But just to start things off, just give us a little bit about yourself, like what ethnicity you're from, where are you born and raised, and and also what is one thing that you loved growing up as a kid.
Wow, that's a loaded question to start it off. I'm Marcus Mariota. I am of Samoan descent. Growing up, I was Alpha Tasi, which is half of one. My mom is full Caucasian, or back home in Hawaii, we call full Haole. My parents met in college at Chaminade, so they also reigned in the Kalai Poaku Hills. And it's kind of funny for them because we ended up going back to school there. So they had a lot of different stories, reminisced a bunch. But yeah, I grew up kind of all over. I was first in Ewa Beachside, then my parents moved into town, and then from town I went towards Hawaii Kai, and then I kind of finished out there when I was in high school, and my parents stayed out there, and I loved every second of it. If I have one thing that I just love growing up, I love Sandy Beach. It's my little sacred place. I go there whenever I come home. I just something about the water. I don't know. I mean, now that I'm been all over the place, I've been in states that are landlocked. It just makes me miss it that much more. And I do enjoy the water when I get home.
That is one thing that we all miss whenever we leave home is the water, for sure.
Oh, the water. The beaches here are nothing in Oregon. So that's one thing.
Oregon coast is tough, to say the least.
It's tough, but it's still beautiful in its own way.
It is.
It's just not warm.
Yeah. You know what the crazy thing is? The whole coast, right? Going all the way down from, to Cali to it's still the Pacific Ocean. So why is it different than our waters and our islands? You know what I mean? It's
The currents, bro. It's the
Yeah, it's the
current.
currents.
shoot, I'm not
And
a
then
scientist.
the higher up you go on, the West Coast, the closer you are getting to colder climates. So,
You're not
that's why it's
wrong.
cold for me.
I mean, even in Cali, the water is like chilly cold over there.
Oh, freezing. It's like an ice bath.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, not as bad as the Oregon coast. At least you can dip your toes in California water. Here it's freezing. Oh my gosh. Okay, so being a new dad, what is it like, or like how do you feel being a father now? Like how has that changed
Oh,
you?
girl dad. I'm so proud of it, to be honest with you. I can't even put into words just how grateful I am for that experience. Your whole perspective on life is completely changed. Like I was so mentally focused on my career, and I wanted to be this, and I wanted to play for these many years, and win Super Bowls or having a chance to win championships. And like that is so far in the back burner now that it's just all about being a dad and trying to be the best version of a dad that I can be and be supportive. And so for me, it's probably one of life's greatest treasures, and I'm super grateful. And this is exciting. Every day, something new. And as you know, as a parent, like you just want what's best for your child, and that's really what I focus on.
I love that. How was your first experience changing a diaper?
It's a great story. So I put it on backwards.
You put it on
My
backward.
I've never done it. I never done it. Like didn't know how I didn't know that the straps had to be on the bottom, so you strapped up, like you know what I mean? So I had it backwards. So I never did one. My wife was very upset because she had to change the diaper the next time and everything fell out. So um that was my first diaper experience.
That is so funny, bro.
That's amazing.
That's so funny. I think there's a because it's just you and your brother, right? And
Mhm.
then there's not much of a age gap, and so probably when he was already out of diapers, you probably didn't have to help your parents change his diapers. But with me, I had to help with my youngest brother because I think there's like an 11-year difference. So I
Yeah.
probably did it. So I had a little experience, but if I was in your shoes, I probably would have done the same thing, bro.
I know. I was all shame. I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't know. She's like, how do you not even know to put the diaper on the right way? I'm like, I really had no idea. Never done any of this ever in my life. So that's your fault for putting me in this position.
And then
So she
after,
should have trained you first.
right,
Got it.
right.
Right. Exactly.
Sis, if you're watching this, I'm on your side. I'm not on their side.
Sorry, not sorry.
No, I was just kidding. No, but man, that's great, man. Because you hear this all the time when from a lot of different people's perspective is when you become that parent, it's totally changes your view on life. And I could definitely see, just in your answer, I can definitely see that it's changed your life for the good. Um,
Hmm.
it's one thing to have a spouse, but it's another thing to have a kid. You know, definitely a big change in your life, and like I said, it's for the good. Kids change your life, and it's for the good, no matter how rascal they are.
No doubt. No doubt.
Mhm.
And I mean like culturally too, right? Like we talk about all the time. It's especially in the Samoan culture, it's the legacy of your family name and carrying those things on. And you know, we're raised at such a young age to value family and to value those experiences together. And so for me to bring in and to add to my family was very fulfilling, and I think it's exciting. And um, it's cool. I mean, every single day, like I said, it's just something different.
Yeah, for sure, man. Wow, whew. Getting touchy-feely over here. What's going on? No, that's great, man. I'm very proud of you, man. You know, we've known each other for a long time, and you know, seen your journey, and you know, I've always been proud of you from high school, bro. From everything that we've done, you know, and your career where you're at now, and you know, I think you seeing that picture of you know you and your family, your you know, and your kid and your wife, it just gave me a extra boost of proudness because of you know I've seen that journey from you know when we were younger, man. So proud of you, man.
No, I
Appreciate
appreciate that.
it.
Thank you, man.
But yeah, let's move on to the next segment, guys. And you know, as you guys know, we do this with every guest, and it is called the questions roulette. And Marcus, obviously, you don't know what this is, but it's basically like Fast Money and Family Feud. So we ask you 10 questions, and we say a minute, but you know, every time we've done it, we've always gone over the
However
minute.
long it takes. It's, you know, just answer questions.
Okay.
They're
But,
simple.
Is
They're
there
easy.
is there right or wrong answers, or is
No,
it
no.
opinion?
opinionated. Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah,
Kaleo.
your personal likes, your personal interests, things like that. Like Coke or Pepsi.
Coke.
Coke. Oh, okay.
Oh, we
Harry
started.
Potter or
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh man, Harry Potter for sure.
Okay. Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh.
Pokemon.
Ooh, okay. Madden or 2K.
See, I hate Madden on it. Like 2K is a
hate
little more
Madden.
fun to me.
What's your dream car?
Oh wow. A Cullinan, a Rolls Royce Cullinan.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
If you could visit anywhere in the world right now, where would it be?
Oh wow. New Zealand.
Yes. Would you rather have a huge family, number wise, or a smaller family?
Um, I'd say huge. We want to have some more kids, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Whatever the future brings.
Exactly.
Travel back in time or travel into the future?
Back in time.
Okay. Would you rather be a superhero or a villain?
Superhero.
I feel like that's a common answer. What is one memory you will never ever forget?
Oh. Starr can attest to this. After we won the state championship in high school, we came back to the St. Louis locker room, and somebody had played O'Connor Road by Natural Vibrations, and everybody was everybody was on top of the lockers, and it was crazy. It was wild.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Bruh, I remember. That's probably one of my memories too. Just, you know, one was winning the championship, but like just the whole vibe that we had in the locker room, man. The O'Connor Road,
Gotcha.
I think we also played Purple Rain. I think we
Yeah.
did.
there's a few songs.
Yeah, man. I remember just looking around and seeing people on the lockers, laying on the floor, like spread
Yeah.
angel out, and it was crazy.
I love those moments.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when you like have that moment with somebody that you've known for a really long time in your talk story, and all of a sudden you like unlock this memory, and then you just remember like just a whole chaos of just everything comes back to you all at once. I love that.
Absolutely.
Honestly, I didn't even want to leave the locker room. I just wanted to be there with the guys, man.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
Well, let's talk about a little bit of some of these answers. The Madden and 2K one, that one is always up for debate because it's like on both sides there are things you hate about it, there are things you love about it, but I feel like a lot of like at least athletes, they play a lot of 2K.
It is a big video game, especially in the locker room. Like guys are always competing. So guys are always talking trash about 2K. COVID actually, when I was getting ready for the season, there was a group of us that had to end up playing basically like every night, and we like it's so weird because you can like go to the rec and like play pickup basketball, you know, like
Yeah.
but it's virtual. So it was for us like during COVID where nobody really got any social interaction. Like that was our opportunity just to hang out and talk story. And so that's kind of why I think I like 2K probably more than Madden.
Plus, it's a shorter game in 2K.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you. Like Madden be sitting there for 45 minutes. Like, holy cow.
Yeah, for real.
I'm not a Madden or a 2K player. So
Oh, she's a bad ass Call of Duty player.
I'm a COD sweat.
No, seriously?
I
love Duty.
Oh, I love it.
Remember,
Do you play ranked or do you do Warzone?
I do all of it.
Everything. I was telling Kaleo, like when I told her that you were coming on the show, I was like, by the way, he plays Call of Duty, and she's like, no.
I was like, no way.
I love Call of Duty. I love that game.
I'm a little obsessed.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I mean, no matter like our generation, right? All three of us, our generation, we was like the heart of when a lot of these games, the consoles, the Xbox, PlayStation, PC gaming was kind of booming. And so like no matter where we're gonna be in life later on in the future, we're still gonna be playing games.
Oh yeah.
I know. I'm with you.
I did like that you brought up when you said huge family and you talked about, the Polynesian culture. It's a common thing. I mean, even in the Hispanic culture too, it's like a big family. But our Polynesian people, man, our Pacific Islanders, it's like my mom was one of 8 siblings, and then I know some of my cousins have like 8 kids, 6 kids. I'm like, bro, we're just big families, man.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, my dad's one of 7, I think. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, I mean, he's big family. But there's something about it, right? Like all your cousins running around and, being able to just share family time with each other, I think is so cool, so special.
Yeah, for sure. Kaleo, you have you have I forgot. You told me your sibling and stuff.
I have a very big family. My dad is one of 13.
Holy moly.
Yep. Yep. And I have
impressive.
4 siblings. So
And then
we're a good-sized family.
You got 3, right?
Me?
Yeah.
I have 2 kids.
I thought you had 3. Oh, I'm thinking about someone else. But 2? Any more in the future? Or
No. We're done. I wasn't supposed to be able to have kids, so the fact that we did was pretty amazing.
Every kid's a blessing, right? So it's a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, guys. So let's move on to the probably the biggest segment of this whole episode. Now we're gonna dive deep into Marcus's journey, his career, wherever where he's at now, and what led him to where he's at now, basically. So first question, I'm gonna take it back to back in our days, at high school and middle school days. We went to St. Louis, class of 2011, baby. Let's represent. I still have my St. Louis tattoo right
The Lou, I love it.
The Lou, but are you ever gonna get one?
Everyone asks me that all the time. I don't know. I don't think I will. But I will say there was a point in my life where I really wanted to get one, and if that was going to be my first tattoo, it would have been that one for sure.
With some tribal probably around it, some Polynesian.
Probably, yeah, just like yours.
Naturally.
But yeah. So speaking of St. Louis, man, how was it going to St. Louis? I know I think you went there. Was 6th grade? So
seventh was my first,
grade.
yeah.
So and all the way, we went all the way through high school, and so how was it going to St. Louis, and how has I guess your experience at St. Louis shaped the man that you are now?
Well, I loved it. I truly just enjoyed going to school. Like we talk about all the time, like it was like you went to school just to hang out with your friends. Obviously going to school, the education, all that was such an important part of it. But like the brotherhood, the relationship that like we're so close with a lot of guys that we went to high school with. Like, and it's not just like 4 or 5 people. Like it's a good majority of our entire class. And I think when you have those types of relationships, and you go through that entire season of life together, you do become close. So I think all in all, like it was such a special time for me. St. Louis is always going to be near and dear to my heart. Um, and I really believe that it shaped me to who I am today. It built um, the character that and the foundation that I live off of. And, I look back on it, and some of my favorite memories, in my 29 years of life, stem back from St. Louis.
So, talking about St. Louis, and we know this, and a lot of some other people that went to other schools, high schools, they could say that, oh, we're just biased and all that, or it's not that different, but we know for sure. Media, we know
It
for
really
sure.
is,
Yeah,
though.
it's really
It's so
different.
different.
It's
Yeah.
like when we talk about brotherhood, like it's such on a different level compared to like other schools and their so-called brotherhood or sisterhood within each other. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. And it's like I said, like you went to school, you didn't care. Everyone, we had dress code, right? So nobody cared like what you wore. Like, there wasn't that type of drama in school. Like you just went and hung out. Like we played cards in the morning at homeroom. And, like it was, you went through PE and you're like playing pickup basketball and like it's all competitive. You're playing kickball, you know, in class. Like, I can remember in certain, I think it was 7th or 8th grade, like the way that they structured how everybody sat in class was based upon like how well you're doing in the class. So like as a competitor for me, like I wanted to be higher, and I wanted to get better. So like I think the competitive aspect of going to like an all boys school, but also that type of relationships and the closeness and the brotherhood, like you knew that nobody was trying to undermine you. You knew that at the end of it, everyone was truly trying to do everything that they can to be the best version of themselves. And I think that's why our experience was different and also just so much more memorable.
Yeah, for sure. It's I like to tell people this all the time where I think I read it somewhere to where like I think there was a study out about, having friends, long-term friends. Like usually from what this study was saying is that usually your best friends that you've, build a relationship for a long time for probably the rest of your life is your college friends. And typically from your high school friends, you kind of tend to fall off because it's such a small time of your life that later on,
Right.
everybody starts moving different places or whatever. But with college, they typically tend to stay closer because, that's like the beginning of their adulthood. So they're going through that adulthood experience together and then they build that bond. But with us, that's our brotherhood from St. Louis, like being an all boys school, having that competitive drive, especially in football. We were like one of the best football schools, right? And so it was just such a different experience to where, like you said, there's probably majority of our whole class. We're all still pretty close. We still keep in touch compared to like other schools. You know what I mean? So I totally
Yeah,
felt
me
that when you
too.
said that.
But what if you
How about
had to
that?
go
What
to a
school did you
different
go to?
school? Me? I grew up
Yeah.
on the mainland. So
In Oregon or no?
in Oregon, yeah.
So what school did you go to?
It's called Nazama High School down in
Okay.
a little town at the border of California and Oregon.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a interesting ride. But so obviously, we went to an all boys school. If you had to though, what school would you have gone to, and why?
Like a different high school?
Yeah,
I can't even think about that.
I don't even want to think about it.
I mean, I guess like if I went to public school, I probably would have ended up at Kalani High School. That was basically the district I lived in. But yeah, I was bleeding red and blue before I could even think. So I was going in no matter what.
That's how it is,
I feel that.
man. They get them young.
They do. They really do.
I mean, shoot, if we seen a towering #1 football kid playing quarterback, just like speeding off, touchdowns every play. Yeah, if I was St. Louis, I would have gotten you too, Mark. That's how it was, Killer. Like you
Yeah.
see all his old tapes of him playing at Kalani Falcons, right? Kalani Falcons.
Yeah.
All you see is this tall kid and all short other kids, and he's just burning everybody. What's up, all you podcast lovers? I just want to take a break and tell you guys a little bit about Roots Global Entertainment. These guys are all about the streaming, gaming, and creating some awesome content that'll keep you entertained for hours on end. With Roots in Hawaii, they've got a unique perspective on the world of entertainment that's sure to keep you engaged. And if you're looking for more ways to keep up with their latest releases, their latest posts, or whatever it may be, check out their website at rootsglobalentertainment.com. Whether you're into gaming, streaming, or just love content, great content, Roots Global Entertainment has got you covered. And let's get back to the podcast. But yeah, man, that's we're gonna move on into the next chapter in life and go into college and stuff like that. So you went to Oregon, but was Oregon always like the school you really wanted to, or was there any other top schools that you wanted to go to?
Well, I grew up a big USC fan. I really wanted to maybe play at USC. Never got recruited, never had an opportunity to go there. But I think Oregon really caught my eye when Jeremiah Masoli went to school there and played. He was at St. Louis for a year, and that I think was something that really opened my eyes. Like, I was like, man, he was in the same school I was, and now he's playing at the University of Oregon. So that in itself gave me the inspiration. But when it came down to it, I was really leaning between Oregon and Washington. I was basically like sitting and contemplating if I wanted to, maybe go up to Seattle, big city, experience all that. But when it came down to it, I fell in love with Eugene. I fell in love with the coaching staff. I fell in love with the academics and kind of the small town feel of Eugene, and reminded me a lot of home. And there was a lot of Hawaii people that were already on the team. So when it came down to it, I was pretty much sold on going to Oregon. And when I went to visit there, it really solidified a lot of those things for me.
You went to visit and you saw the facilities. You're like, damn.
that definitely helped for sure.
So yeah, speaking of the facilities, the Oregon, the coaches, experience, how would you say your overall experience at Oregon was?
Man, A++. It was unbelievable. I feel very fortunate. I had a really unbelievable experience in high school at St. Louis, and then to continue that at the University of Oregon, man, I was blessed. And it came down to it, I just really believe that I got lucky with the people around. There's an unbelievable resource staff that a lot of people are still there actually at the University of Oregon that made my time there truly special. They helped me in academics. They kept me healthy on the field. They were the people that really supported me through that journey. But yeah, man, staying with St. Louis, the relationships that we built there made that run unbelievable. But when I was at Oregon, same deal, man. There's just a lot of good people, and I have a lot of good teammates that I'm still really close with. And I really believe that that's why we were successful. And I think that's why ultimately, we spend so much time still up there in Eugene. It's a special place for us.
You can definitely see it for sure from the outside looking in. You could see the overall, about the whole program, the whole school, and it really showed. And that year, those years were very special, and I'm sure Kaleo can attest to that.
I really can. Heck yeah, go Ducks! Funny thing, I am the only duck in my family. Everybody else is beavers.
Oh,
even though
wow.
my mother went to both, but her first was OSU. So I am the odd duck out. See what I did there? So tell me, how did you feel when the people of Hawaii showed so much love while you were playing in Oregon?
Oh, it means the world. It still means the world to me. The support, the love. It's a lot of the reasons why I'm still doing it. The opportunity to represent Hawaii and the opportunity to represent the culture and the values is a huge motivation for me. And each and every single day, I kind of put on that jacket of, all right, I'm here representing not only myself, but my family, where I come from, and the small islands in the middle of the Pacific. And it's really cool. Like when I get to meet new teammates, especially in this new atmosphere that I'm in now in Philadelphia, everyone has a tie to Hawaii somehow. It's like, oh, I took a trip there, or I have family there, or I really find it as a great icebreaker. But at the same time, it brings pride. It brings motivation for me to continue that. And I just want people to experience what we got to experience growing up, and making sure that when people talk to me, they can feel that spirit of aloha. They can feel the culture values, because it is important. And I think it is something that needs to be shared, because our Polynesian culture is something that's truly special, and something that I think a lot of people need to see and to feel and to just experience it.
I love that. I love that. I feel like that has been the common occurrence for every single person that we've had on this podcast so far. And that's definitely something I strive for every day. Absolutely. But huge question. So, how did it feel to be the first someone from Hawaii to win the most prestigious award in college football, the Heisman? What was going through your head during the whole thing when they said your name?
I hate to admit this, but the first thing was, man, I don't want to go up there and make a speech. I was so nervous about making a speech. And kind of a fun, cool story beforehand. I was traveling from Baltimore to New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony. And I got a call from my mom, and she was like, hey, have you thought about writing a speech? Putting thoughts down just so that you can say thank you to who you want to say thank you to, and try to remember everybody. And I'm like, nah, Mom, I think I'm just going to wing it. I'm just going to go up there and just try to just go off the dome and off the heart. And as I was sitting on the train, I started to realize, like, I'm a terrible public speaker, so I should probably put some words down. And that's how I did it. I borrowed a piece of paper and a pen and just kind of jot down my thoughts. And that's kind of how the Heisman speech came about. But yeah, I hate to admit that was the first thing that I thought about, was like, oh, I got to make a speech. But then obviously, like, all the emotions come into it, right? Like, my journey, that's the first, besides the speech. But you think about all the people that sacrificed for you: my parents, my family, my teammates at St. Louis and at Oregon, all the coaches. And my main focus was just trying to say thank you in the most genuine way possible. And like, even to this day, it's still super surreal. Like, I can't even really describe how it feels. It's a great honor. And I think, at least I hope, that people understand that, to me, it's a team award. Like, I was just ultimately the guy that people recognize, but it took a complete effort from 100 guys on that team to be able to accomplish that. And I hope they all feel a sense of pride with it, because really, I don't think of it as an individual award.
I love that. It definitely takes a village to raise a child, as well as to accomplish many things, right?
No doubt.
For sure.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
for sure. I mean, what did you think of the whole, I guess, picture, sculpture thing that they made at Oregon? That upside down triangle sculpture thingy? I don't know what it's called,
Yeah.
but
No, it was, they came up to me with the idea, actually, and they had asked how I wanted to portray how I felt. And that's just like I described. Like, it was a team effort. It required sacrifices from coaches, from players, from my family, from going way back. So the way that they were able to, like, and emulate that was really, really cool. And like you talked about, it's like a pyramid, and it's at the base of the pyramid is my family, and it talks about kind of my journey a little bit. It talks about St. Louis school, talks about the coaches that I had there, my teammates, and then my teammates at Oregon, and the staff and all that. So ultimately, I think it was a great representation of how I felt, and it's really, really cool because it's surrounded by the Hawaiian Islands. So whenever people go in to visit and they want to see the Heisman Trophy, there's the Hawaiian Islands, and then there's really all the people that helped me get that. So really, really cool, and I'm grateful that it turned out the way that it did.
Yeah, it turned out freaking amazing. Kaleo, you got a chance to go see it?
Oh yeah, of course I did. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. The same thing with I like when you brought about the islands. I really like that they incorporated the actual islands and made it like seats and stuff. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Yeah, we're gonna move on to our final segment, and obviously it's part of the I guess the last chapter in football. I guess you can say is the NFL, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about the draft party because I was there and it was crazy. It was such a surreal moment. I'm sure it was for you and mom and dad and the rest of your family, but as a friend and as a classmate, like that was probably one of our most proudest moments of one of our boys. You know what I mean? Just wanted to get your feelings on, how did you feel when you got the call, when the Tennessee was up for pick, and you kind of, knew that this was gonna be it, and then you didn't hear your name, and then you hear the cheering and the chee-hooing all over the place. Like, how did you feel about that, and how did you feel about? I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure you're the highest draft pick football player from Hawaii to come out of Hawaii.
I didn't know that. That's really cool, actually. That whole experience was it's like it's hard to put into words, really. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I had an opportunity to go and to do the draft there, but ultimately I couldn't bring everybody with me. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it at home. So got to do it at the Alumni Center, which was really cool. To be able to bring teammates, classmates, people that ultimately helped me get to that point in my life, was important for me to share that moment with them. Because like I said, like it comes down to so many people gave up so many different things or helped support me in different ways. And my way of saying thank you was just trying to share in that moment. And it was such a crazy, surreal experience. And like Starr said, like I think when I initially got the call, it's like just a flood of emotions come to you because you're like, it's what I've dreamt about since I was a little kid. To be able to live a dream was surreal. And ultimately, like it's kind of funny. I actually hung up on accident. The coaching staff. It was long story, but basically they called. Couldn't hear them. Had to hang up. They called back. But man, I was ecstatic. Like, I just was like, I can't wait to just get there and to just do football and to live this dream. And man, it was a great run for 5 years. I loved Tennessee. I loved everything about it. It was a fun organization to play for. But that whole experience in itself, I'm just so happy I got to share it with everybody.
Yeah, for sure. So, because I remember when you got the call, like we started making noise already. We were so excited, and then all I remember was like, quiet down, all that stuff.
Yeah, because I had to hang up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
man.
crazy, man. But yeah. So being in the NFL or just making it to the NFL, I know it's a lot of our, especially Polynesian or Samoan kids. That's like, I don't know, engraved in us and from we were a young age, like, we're gonna be good at sports, make it to the NFL, help out the family, buy mom a house, all that stuff. And I think you mentioned that it was your childhood dream, but was it always your childhood dream, or was there another dream that you kind of wanted to, and then it eventually became making it to the NFL?
I'm gonna be completely honest. There really wasn't. I had wrote down in fourth grade. I remember my mom still has a paper somewhere. They asked what you wanted to do and what your career goals were, and I had wrote down that I wanted to be a professional football player. And it's crazy to think about. Like since I was a young kid, that's really all I ever wanted to be. Um, it takes a lot of lucky breaks. It takes a lot of people helping you out along the way. Um, but I really believe in writing goals down and trying to strive for something. Um, because I'm a kid from the middle of the Pacific that gets to live out his dream. Um, and I still to this day I still write down goals I have for the season and goals that I have as a father, as a husband. So I think there's something to it. But like I said, I got a few lucky breaks along the way. But to say there was a second option for me, really, there really wasn't. I was so focused on trying to be that, and I'm forever grateful that I've had the opportunity to do that.
People that are listening, when he says, there's a few lucky breaks in there, it's not in a negative way. A lot of times, things, get put on our laps, and it's up to us to take advantage of whatever opportunity that was given. And I think that's what you meant, right? With you had a few lucky breaks and all that stuff. The opportunity showed itself, and you took it and ran with it, man. And I mean, look at where you at now.
No, I appreciate that, and when it comes down to it, like I said, I've been a part of unbelievable teams throughout my career, and I've been a part and around so many great athletes. And for one reason or another, things don't necessarily work out. And like I said, I just had an opportunity where I just kind of kept stacking and things kind of bounced my way. But like when it comes down to it, you always try to prepare for maybe what could happen. But I always had in my head like this was plan A. Doesn't mean I didn't have a plan B, but like I just strived for it. I worked for it. I sacrificed for it, and eventually things did work out.
Like I've said before on this episode, and I've told you before when we would, just chop it up from random time to time. Us Islanders, back in Hawaii, the Samoan people, just us Islanders in general, man, we're proud of everything that you've accomplished and what you're still doing. And yeah, just on behalf of everybody,
No,
man.
thank you. I mean, seriously, like it is one of the reasons why I still do it. Like I feel forever grateful that I've had this opportunity and to be able to continue to hopefully share that with everybody, is what's most important for me. And it's cool, right? Like I think like, I remember when Tua was coming up, and Dylan and, even Mackenzie and some of these younger guys playing quarterback, we watched them grow up, but we also we try to mentor, Starr, you're over there mentoring not only Tua, but also Taulia, who, is playing quarterback in Maryland. And
Yeah.
It's so ingrained at us at a young age, especially growing up in Hawaii. It's always about the next generation, and the next generation is going to make the next generation better. So I always felt that that's my role, is to just continue just to try to push the envelope. But also try to just reach my hand back and bring the next group up. Because I think that's how not only our legacy as a Polynesian people gets recognized, but it's a legacy of your family and where we come from. So, but also Starr, it takes you doing these types of things, right? Doing these podcasts, allowing us to share our story, to be able to reach audiences and reach people that maybe we wouldn't be able to reach by ourselves. So I'm proud of you too, man. Don't don't ever get that twisted, man. I love the fact that we get the opportunity just to sit down and chat. I can remember us driving from St. Louis to do football camps, and
Oh yeah.
To sit here and where we're at today, we're still chasing our own goals and chasing our dreams, and it's just a testament to who you are as a person and where we come from.
Yes, sir, man. I remember doing all those football camps. I remember us all driving to Kahala Mall, or
Yeah.
I do remember the just to go back to the football side, right? I remember was it me, you, and maybe Duke and maybe Bronson would go with Coach Chris, and train at
Yep.
I think Kahala side. I forgot what the park was, but
Yeah.
those trainings were pretty. It was fun, but it was like, I think that was the moment where I was thinking in my head, I was like, man, this is it. This is what it takes to get to that next level, in college and all that stuff.
Right.
I'm glad that I'm here with these guys and Coach Chris. And
Did you have a player that was like your role model in life, and like in the NFL as well, like two separately?
Yes, for sure. I think I grew up a huge Michael Vick fan. I just loved his game. I thought, I could run around like a little bit like he could. I could throw it around like he could. I just felt like that was kind of how my game was as a football player. Um, but what's really cool about St. Louis is there's a tradition of quarterbacks that have played there, and it goes back for a long ways. But like, Timmy Chang, Jason Gesser, Darnell, Jeremiah had played there, Bobby George. There was a group of guys that just continued, Jeremy Higgins and Cameron Higgins, and each one of those guys ended up playing Division I football and had chances to play in the NFL too. And I looked up to those guys because I'm like, that's kind of where I wanted to be. I wanted to be a part of that group and be mentioned amongst those names. So that was what was special for me. Also going to St. Louis was that there was a tradition of quarterbacks that have played there, and just to be mentioned amongst them was a goal of mine, and just I think what motivated me to be the best version of myself.
Best version of yourself. I love that. It's improving every day, especially now that you're a dad.
Yes.
So for me, I know being a Pacific Islander, like it means a lot to me, my culture, my heritage, all those things. What does it mean to you to be a representative of the Pacific Islander culture?
It means everything to me. It really does. Every single day I wake up, I go to work. That's who I think about. I think about my family. I think about the kids back home in Hawaii. I think about where I've come from, and just representing all of that to the best of my ability, and shining a light on what I think is really special in our culture. So, yeah, it means everything to me, and I just do my best to represent that in the best way possible.
Another question. When you go to describe our culture and things like that, what's the first thing that comes to you when you go to describe it to somebody?
Family. And it's like not necessarily blood family, like it's everybody's family. Like, I mean, we grew up where aunties and uncles took care of you, and they weren't related to you at all. But you referred to them as auntie or uncle. That I think is the foundation of who we are as a community and as a people. But all the other values that come off of that, whether it's integrity, trust, those all stem off of family. And I think when I look back on it, those values are really what molded who I am and the reason why I am who I am.
Yeah,
You
for
gonna-
sure.
And that's something that will definitely live on in your children as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, I like that. I when she asked you that question, I kind of almost knew that you were gonna say family, because that's exactly the perfect explanation of when people ask, like, about our peoples, either whether it be Hawaiian, Samoan, Fijian, Tongan, just Pacific Islands in general. Like that's like, aside from our religious parts, we always say God first and all that stuff. But after that,
Yeah,
it's literally family. And
it is.
I'm glad that you said that, especially in Hawaii, we see everybody as auntie and uncle, cousins, all that stuff. It's just that level of respect that we have for each other. You know what I mean? Um, the fact that I could go to, your mom, Marcus, or Kaleo, your parents, Marcus,
Oh
your
yeah.
dad, I mean, I could go to your dad anytime because your dad knows my dad long time too, right?
No
So,
doubt.
but that's I could go over and and ask them for help if I need help or anything. That's just the way it was. You guys lived in
Hmm.
Hawaii, Kai. We lived all the way in Kali, but I could still go over there and ask them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, I'm
Exactly.
glad that you brought that up, and I know that you earlier, you brought up, about, you think about the kids, the high school kids back in St. Louis, or just in general, any football players or any students across Hawaii. Um, what, how, and what do you do on your part to try and give back to, I guess, our people, our community? Because I know that I think you started our foundation in two, but maybe take this time to maybe talk about that foundation, or things that you've done to give back to our people back in Hawaii.
Yeah, we created the Motivate Foundation, and it's a resource. It's an opportunity to give to underprivileged youth, as well as homelessness. But our focus is just providing the tools for young kids to be able to be successful. We've done a million types of things. It's really cool, actually. We've taken kids to University of Hawaii football games, to Oregon games, to Atlanta Falcons games, to Tennessee games and Vegas games, and we've done back to school backpacks. We've helped sponsor football camps. We've done charitable donations to high schools. Um, and it comes down to the fact that um, my parents really sacrificed for my brother and I to be able to travel and to go to football camps and to be able to kind of market ourselves at a young age. And really, what motivates true foundation principles was to be able to provide a resource for kids that didn't necessarily have that. My mom worked 3 jobs. My dad worked in the government for 30 years. Like, you know, they were able to provide for my brother and I, but it's not necessarily that way for everybody. And what I wanted to be able to do was to create a space where, with Motivate Foundation, where the youth could go and they could get what they needed, and they could use that as a resource. And I'm very proud of it. That is going to long live past my football playing career. And I think for me, that gives me the greatest satisfaction. Football has provided me an unbelievable platform, but to be able to share that, and to give back and to make an impact, is truly something that's important to me, and really just what it's about. And I'm excited for it. I think we're just beginning to scratch the surface. I think there's a lot that's coming in, and I'm excited to see where this goes.
That's what's up. When you first started it, I looked into it a little bit and, kind of watched along the journey and stuff like that. And I think, I didn't you, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you, when you first got in the league, I think one of the first things you did, obviously was take care of you and your family and all that stuff. But I think you did something for St. Louis, right?
A little bit, yeah. We've created an endowment program. We've created scholarships, for incoming freshmen, and basically for all 4 years when they go to high school there. Um, they have to have Polynesian descent, play sports, play football, play baseball, whatever the case may be. But also, I think what's important for the scholarship is extracurriculars. Giving back. They have to show a form of community service. Um, they have to keep their grades up, obviously, but they have to be well-rounded people. I think to be able to provide students the opportunity to further their education at a place that we find so special was important to me. And I think to be able to start that early on, it's creating a lot of revenue, and it's basically going to be self-sufficient. And I think that's what's really cool about it, is that once you get to that point where the endowment program basically funds itself, it's going to give back a lot to St. Louis. And I think that's eventually, hopefully, what it would be able to do.
Do you remember? I don't know if you remember, but I think I sent you a text saying that, like, I was like, "Hey, bro, I think you didn't know, but the two candidates that got your scholarship or whatever, it was my cousins."
I think I remember that text message.
Yeah, it was such a it was I was like, I'm pretty sure he didn't know that they're my cousins, which is it's a good thing, because then they don't want to have those like
Yeah,
oh
for sure.
oh, just because that was my boy, I was gonna give it to his cousins. No, I wasn't like that, right?
No,
They
not
earned
at
it.
all.
You know what I
But
mean? They earned it.
they did, and that's like part of the process too, is where we sit down and we have interviews. I'm not there full time, and I'm probably not there as much as I'd like to be. But it gets basically funneled down to 3 to 5 candidates, and then myself and my family will sit down and just talk with the candidates, and it's pretty cool, man. I mean, the thing about like our first recipients, they're getting ready to graduate college. Like, it's kind of wild for me to sit there and to see that. But it is such a treat to be able to see somebody that maybe wouldn't have been able to go to St. Louis, finish at St. Louis, and now they're finishing up a college. It's pretty cool. It's something that I'll take with me forever.
Yeah, so that is majority. Actually, that's all the questions that we have for you today. But let me talk to the millions of viewers real quick. If you guys are watching, man, I appreciate you guys coming through. And I have to say that all the time, because I have to, like how Marcus said about writing down their goals. I'm speaking it into existence. The millions of viewers. So yeah,
Manifesting.
manifesting, right? But hey, thank you guys for coming through. As we start wrapping up this show, we will be linking up the links, to Marcus's socials and all that stuff, and to his Motivate. You guys have a link to the Motivate Foundation, right, Marcus?
Yes, yeah, we have a website. My wife runs our social media page. I don't have any social media, but my wife creates the content, and she's the boss. She's the one.
I think you have a I mean, with any NFL players, celebrities, whatever, like, people always make fake accounts, but I think you have the Motivate Foundation Instagram page.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's my wife. Yeah,
Okay, sounds good.
she runs it.
So yeah, all the links that necessary to the foundation, and if you want to see more of the stories and the different stories and impacts that he's made on other people's lives and all that stuff, the links will be down below in the YouTube. So go ahead and check that out. If there is there going to be is there like a live donation link, whatever, if they wanted to?
There is, yes. I appreciate that. So if you go to the motivatefoundation.com, we do have a donate section towards the bottom of the page, and feel free to be able to share and to basically make a difference. Our main focus at Motivate is, for every dollar that's put into it, just understanding where that money is going. I've been a part of a lot of charitable initiatives, and I've been to different fundraisers, and a lot of times you donate, you're not sure where that money's going. But with Motivate, like, we're very adamant where your money comes from is where it's going back to. We try to, for every dollar that's raised in Hawaii, we try to maintain where that's going in Hawaii, or in Oregon, or wherever I may be playing. So appreciate just any sort of generosity. Just understand that you are making a difference. Motivate is out there grinding it out and just trying to make a difference in the community. And when you donate $1, just know that it's going to your community.
Yeah. So as we start wrapping up this episode, we'd like to say thank you again, Marcus, for coming on the show. And I know we're not a big show, but we'll get there. And thank you for coming on and telling your story. I know a majority of the story, but I'm sure whoever's watching, I'm sure Kaleo, will appreciate knowing more of your journey and
Yeah, absolutely.
No, thank you again. Like I said, it's cool to be able to share your story and to give a little insight. I've always been a super private person, so maybe to share a little bit, it's kind of cool for me too.
So we always like to ask the guests, like, what is one saying that you live by?
Oh wow, be yourself. I think for me personally, I've been to different parts of the world, different parts of the country. At the end of the day, like, stay true to who you are, and don't allow negativity, don't allow the circumstance, don't allow other people to define who you are. You know who you are, you know what you're about and what you want to be able to accomplish. And ultimately, if you stay true to that, your purpose will manifest, and just go get it and trust that God has put you in these places for a reason. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in faith, and I have faith that wherever you may be in your life, it's for a reason. And I think you can use those experiences to ultimately make a difference.
That goes along with my saying.
Yeah, I know why Kaleo was smiling, because it's literally so with the saying, right? We have the guests say, they're saying and all that stuff, and then we say ours too. And yeah, as we end the show, and I guess we're gonna come to the end. Kaleo, take us out with your ending saying. And again, Marcus, thank you so much again for being here. Appreciate it so much.
So I always say, remember to be uniquely you, because it's the best thing that you could ever do. And I'm proud of you, and you are always enough.
Yes, sir.
That's
And
awesome.
exactly, right? That's why when you started talking about that, I was like, man, that's like exactly what Kaleo says all the time.
Or worse.
But I don't have like I can bring out saying this stuff, but I just say yes, bless well, show aloha, right? So that's all I say.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the show. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.